Good morning. How's this level? Can folks hear me okay? Perfect. Well, good morning. Thank you so much for making your way to the Merchandise Mart and the Electrification Coalition's medium and heavy duty EV policy bootcamp. So really excited about today. There's been just a lot of folks coming together to put together, I think, fantastic content, really important experts, some exciting case studies and examples of kind of where we are in the electrification journey for medium and heavy duty vehicles. My name is Aaron Viles. I'm the Senior Director of Campaigns for the Electrification Coalition. For today's kind of housekeeping, just to make sure we're clear, this QR code right now, if you haven't scanned it, you should scan it because it'll pull up the agenda, it'll pull up speaker bios, other resources for that electrification journey we'll be highlighting today. Also, if you've not seen the vehicles, we have three medium and heavy duty vehicles that are here to show you the technology, that it's real, it's being deployed, and we've got some great partners who've made that happen. They're right out here. So if you haven't ventured out, you can see them during short breaks, but you'll have time to go down during lunch. You'll have time to go down after we wrap as well. So they'll be there through the afternoon. And then the Wi-Fi is there and available. So please do take advantage of it. But pay attention to the speakers too, right? Don't just be sucking your phone. This is my my mom kind of talking to you. This is what I like about today, right? So we've done these a number of different places. We've done them in a number of different states. The content, I guarantee you, it's great. But what's going to happen is the conversations are happening at the side of the room, not during the panels, of course, but during the kind of networking breaks. That's where I think we can get a lot of benefit from the engagement we're putting together here. So I say that to kind of remove some of the pressure on the speakers to follow. But we do know that this is going to be a fantastic conversation, and we got some great speakers lined up for you today. What I'm going to do is introduce you to the EC and talk about some of the electrification resources that are available, and then we're going to launch into our first speaker, our special guest. So a little bit about the Electrification Coalition. We're a nonprofit, a nonpartisan organization. We come to the electrification space from our initial partner, SAFE, Securing America's Future Energy. At least they used to be called SAFE. They used to be called Securing America's Future Energy. Now we do work in Europe, so it's just SAFE. But if you think about that name, Securing America's Future Energy, we're in the EV space because we know that there are significant challenges with the way our transportation system is currently set up. We are overly dependent on oil to move vehicles from point A to point B. And as we are seeing right now in the Middle East, as we're seeing in Ukraine, that doesn't set us up for success from a kind of international and global perspective. 90% of our transportation sector is dependent on oil-based fuels, and transportation is approximately 70% of that petroleum consumption. So that brings with it lots of challenges. I think we're seeing a lot of them right now. We've been talking about this issue for quite a long time, but I think in the past couple of years, it's really been brought to the fore in a way that is very tangible and makes the case very well for moving to a different technology and a different source of fuel. So if we think about it, we are always being subjected to significant changes in the price of gas, the price of diesel, putting us at a disadvantage, whereas the price of electricity has been consistent, has been low, has been stable. And the great thing, if you're thinking about the environmental benefits of that transition, our electricity can get cleaner over time, which means our vehicles can get cleaner over time. And this is, I think, just a great example of the kind of significant changes that we've seen in the price and how that affects us politically. A little bit about the EC. We're not just in Illinois, we're in 10 priority policy states around the country. And then, as you'll see, some kind of clumpings in the Southeast and in the Midwest and the Mid-Atlantic area. It's not just our policy team. I'm here to represent our campaigns and policy work, but we also have programmatic work where we partner with cities and municipalities to help them on their electrification journey. We're very much active at the federal level as well, and I'll talk a bit about our federal priorities in a moment. But we are excited to work with kind of wherever you are on your transition to EVs, or if you'd like to just get some more details to think through your potential transition, whether it's at the municipal or state or corporate level. Very excited to acknowledge and thank our Business Council partners. A number of them are represented here today. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm sorry. So the we're not a trade association, but we have a number of partners and a table that we've convened to ensure that we can find opportunities to collaborate and policies we can promote jointly. So some folks are in the room that I like to acknowledge and are actually parked alongside the road out there. So Rivian and Lion, obviously folks who have a very big presence here in Illinois, and glad to have them for sure. BP Pulse is here as well, and you'll hear from them. Enride, also great examples of some very cool deployment happening in the medium and heavy duty EV space. We'll hear from them later. And do appreciate all of our corporate partners who've made this conversation as productive as possible. All right, so let's get into it. We've talked a little bit about who we are and why we care about it. This is medium and heavy duty. This is what it looks like. Obviously, these are big, heavy vehicles, which can make the challenge to electrification significant, right? So we are seeing right now in the kind of landscape, light-duty EVs are coming on in a way that is kind of unstoppable. We've seen major investments being made for the traditional OEMs. Obviously, Tesla and other EV-only manufacturers are leading the way. Excited about the kind of Rivian as their vehicles are mass market and are showing up all across the country. But the medium heavy-duty space is a little bit more challenging and brings with it some significant barriers to zero-emission vehicle adoption. But I think today you'll hear a lot of solutions about how it works and how we can do more of it. Obviously, as we think about business cases and the use of vehicles for business, it's all about the total cost of ownership. So the ability to reduce costs for businesses over time by, again, as we mentioned, that stable and low price of electricity as a fuel source, and the lower cost of maintenance, fewer moving parts. You don't need oil changes anymore. So the fact that you can schedule that out over time makes EVs a winner for a number of different reasons. And as you'll see here, as the battery costs have come down significantly kind of from where they started to where we are now, I think we've seen a little bit of a bump up there, I think from $141 a kilowatt hour to $151. So as we hit some challenges in our supply chain, we've seen some response there. I think generally we're on course to keep ratcheting down that cost, but it's going to require some pretty significant commitments to that supply chain. And we've been talking about supply chains since before supply chains were cool, but over the past 3 years, everyone's learned a lot about supply chains, right? And so what we know is making sure that we don't go from the kind of Middle Eastern Saudi Arabia fire or the frying pan into the Shanghai fire is a very important component of our policy work. And I think what we've seen from a national perspective is ensuring that those supply chains are domestically produced and developed and friend-sourced where required, means that we can be in a much better position a few years down the road. But in addition to those kind of federal investments, I've alluded to, policies at the state level can make a very significant difference. We're very excited about a kind of whole suite of policies that are complementary to the medium and heavy-duty electrification effort. Very clearly, there's an incentive that's been discussed and that we've worked on. We'll hear more about it later with a panel to follow. A conversation that's happened throughout the state has been the Advanced Clean Truck Rule and the State Clean Transportation Standards, just in this kind of initial conversation, but a whole lot of policies that can help us speed us on our way. At the federal level, the EPA Phase 3 greenhouse gas emission standards are a primary focus right now. We are very excited about the prospects of that rule because it will, in conjunction with the tax credits, allow the kind of carrot and stick approach to ensure that we're moving in the right direction. The Advanced Clean Truck Rule has been adopted in California and 7 other states, and it really is the kind of leading edge for medium and heavy duty electrification. We don't necessarily expect that to be an option at every state across the country, but we think the EPA Advanced Truck Rule can kind of make sure there's a federal floor for this EV adoption. And if you want to get into the weeds of these timelines for these policies, we'll share these slides later. Some resources to make you available of. A lot of these are on that QR code and you can find them. The EV funding landscape is a little complicated. It's very robust though. That's the exciting part. There's a lot of opportunities out there for funding, and we've developed a kind of simple tool to help you, figure out what's available for your use case. So if you haven't checked it out, you should if you're thinking about moving to EVs. Also, if you're at a fleet level and you're thinking about how you can chart your transition, we have a very easy to use Drive tool, the dashboard for rapid vehicle electrification, and we partner with Atlas Public Policy to help give you the numbers that you need to make the math work for your EV adoption. So really exciting tool that I encourage everyone at kind of a fleet perspective to take advantage of. We've also got a number of different policy sorry about the advancing randomly. So these reports and white papers can help give you a little more information as you think about the medium and heavy duty electrification. Again, they're all available on that QR code. We didn't want to print out a lot of paper, but we do want to make sure that these are available to you. So very exciting day. Very glad to have you in the room. If you like today and how it goes, we'll do it again in DC in March, our SAFE Summit, where we'll be partnering with SAFE and a whole kind of suite of organizations that are working on supply chain, that are working on domestic critical metals and those development, and making sure that we're putting the U.S. in a position to lead on the clean energy tech manufacturing. That'll be March 12th through 13th in Washington, D.C. Mark your calendar now. And if you have any kind of questions throughout the course of the day, if there are any policies you want to have a conversation about, if you would like to ensure that you stay connected with us, there's some great folks in the room. I think they're in the room. Will Dreyer is our policy manager for Illinois. He's there at the back. He's kind of waving sheepishly now. He's your guy if you want to talk about Illinois state policy. Marie McConnell is helping to build our kind of advocacy network of folks who are supporting the policy push, so she's out and about as well. And we're excited to work collaboratively with corporate partners, with our nonprofit partners, and with our government partners to ensure that this transition is as smooth as possible. It's historic, folks. We are in a very exciting time right now. I wasn't around when we went from the horse and buggy to the car, but I think this is basically the same, except for we get to use, there's less horse poop to be dealt with, and there's a lot more policy options, I think, in front of us right now. So this is, don't blink and miss it. This is a time to be very actively engaged in ensuring that transition is as smooth as possible, and those policy gains are realized. So I've gone too long. I want to introduce our special guest. We were very excited. We couldn't really tell anyone this was happening, so we've been sitting on the information for quite a while. But as we think about state policy moving forward in medium and heavy duty space, there's really one person we needed to hear from. So Governor J.B. Pritzker is a proud member of the U.S. Climate Alliance. He has shepherded through some very important policies at the Illinois state level, whether that's the CEJA, whether it's the REV Act to ensure that Illinois is a manufacturing hub for that clean technology. But we're very excited to welcome and put your hands together for Governor J.B. Pritzker.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks so much to Aaron for that very kind introduction, and great to see everybody here. I really am excited to welcome the Electrification Coalition here to Illinois, to the city of Chicago. How many people are here from outside of the city of Chicago? Yeah, great to see all of you here. And how many outside the state of Illinois? Yeah, well, we welcome you. We hope you'll check out Millennium Park and we have the best hot dogs in the world, the best Italian beef in the world, and of course the best pizza in the world. So I am really grateful to have the opportunity to speak in front of all of you. And there's no better state in the country to talk about electrification in the medium and heavy duty vehicle sector. Illinois lies at the heart of logistics and distribution in the United States. First in the country for freight volumes by rail, third in the country for the number of interstate miles. And by the way, we're in the middle of upgrading all of those things in Illinois. I'm here to brag in part about the fact that in addition to all the work that we're doing in electrification, we actually passed an infrastructure bill for the state of Illinois 2 years before the federal government got around to it. And the result of that is we have $45 billion just from that bill $20 billion more coming and here as a result of the federal bill. So everything should be brand spanking new and gleaming by the time we're all done with it. But we have electrification as an important component of the build out of our infrastructure, and we're very proud of that. If we want to decarbonize the transportation and logistics sectors in the United States, we've got to start in the state of Illinois, and I can assure you that we're hard at work doing just that. As governor, I've been working with industry partners, including many represented in this room, to accelerate the transition to zero-emission vehicles and to fight climate change. More than any other state in the Midwest, we have created an arsenal of incentives, some of which Aaron mentioned, facilitating the manufacture and purchase of EVs in Illinois, and so much more in electrification. We created grants for electric school buses and electric trucks and transit vehicles. Just as important as that, we've invested in the infrastructure to facilitate a higher proportion of EVs on our roads. And just this year, we began awarding grants and tax credits for fast charging ports across the state. And this fall, we're launching the first tranche of grants for other kinds of charging stations across neighborhoods and local roadways. Illinois utilities have begun providing $300 million to support transportation electrification over the next 3 years, and we'll be able to build on those offerings with our own allocated $148 million in federal funds through the NEVI program. Last year, we enacted the Electric Vehicle Charging Act, requiring all new building construction to be EV capable. It's a cost-effective way for us to support EV adoption because it lays the groundwork, the wiring for charging stations right at the time of construction. We've made a major commitment to support EV OEMs and suppliers that want to locate and grow right here in Illinois, like Rivian, like Lion Electric, like TCCI, like Navistar, and so many others. We're proud of the EV manufacturers and suppliers that are here, and we're welcoming more. Frankly, we're talking to more every single day, and I welcome your engagement, any of you that want to talk to us about the opportunities. Our state's manufacturing workforce is best in the nation. I can say that without doubt. We've been at this for a lot of years. We used to be referred to as an old Rust Belt state. I would say we're now a brand spanking new advanced manufacturing state. But Illinois is ensuring that our best asset, our people, the people who really built the industrial economy of the United States, are equipped with the training for the jobs of the future. Through our Rebuild Illinois Capital Plan, our Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity has partnered with manufacturers like Rivian and TCCI here in Illinois, launching world-class manufacturing training academies that are fostering career pathways that haven't been seen before for new students joining the field and for workers who are looking to upgrade their skills and their incomes. Heartland Community College in Central Illinois built a first-in-the-nation electric vehicle and energy storage manufacturing training academy, preparing young manufacturers for the jobs of today and tomorrow. So when you go to one of our 48 community colleges in the state of Illinois, our intent, and we have the third largest community college system in the country, our intent is to make sure that when you graduate, you go right into a job. And the leaning into electrification has allowed us to really accelerate that endeavor, and people are really excited about it, and we have increasing enrollment at our community colleges as a result of that. At Southwestern Illinois College in Belleville, Illinois, and that's in, I would say, on the verge of southern Illinois, established an innovative manufacturing education hub that expands 21st century technical training and fosters more opportunities for those who aspire to enter this field. It's investments like these and more that are meeting the needs of industry while creating opportunities for hardworking Illinoisans at every turn. And all the while, we've lowered taxes on businesses. Let me repeat that. We lowered taxes on businesses in Illinois, and we provided competitive incentives for manufacturers looking to locate to or to expand to Illinois. We did that through our EDGE tax credits, our Reimagining Energy and Vehicles program, and created a lot of incentives through our Climate and Equitable Jobs Act, which really is lifting up our economy and, importantly, taking us to zero fossil fuel emissions in the development of clean energy across Illinois. And because of all of that and many other things, Goshen and TCCI and Prysmian Group and Microlink Devices and Manor Polymers and many others have all announced that they're moving here or they're expanding operations in Illinois. And I'm really proud of that because we haven't seen that kind of influx of industry in many years, and it's electrification that's helping us to lead the way. We'd love for any of you here who are thinking about expanding or growing or coming to Illinois to join those who have already come here. My door is always open. We really are in the governor's office, very focused on this. We have a team there. I'm part of that team. I talk to CEOs and senior teams all the time about the opportunity to do business here. This is a great way for you to come to Illinois to really have the governor's office kind of clearing the way, working with the agencies to make sure that you get the permits that you need, make sure that you get the workforce that you need. We are doing everything we can to think through from beginning to end how to make it easy for you to do business here. Together, we have an opportunity to create the next frontier of electrification, and it starts right here in the state of Illinois. So thanks again to all of you for the opportunity to be with you this morning, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Good to see all of you.
Thank you, Governor. I really do appreciate that. So, we started a high bar, but the rest of the day is going to be equally great, I promise. So we have got our next speaker is actually coming to us from I think, Washington, D.C., but Spencer Burgett, who's with Atlas Public Policy, is going to bring us kind of a market analysis, kind of where we are, where we go from here, with a focus on the kind of medium and heavy-duty space as that grows and expands. While Will pulls that up, I just want to thank Mega Lakchura and the folks from the IEPA and the EV policy coordinating team to helping make the governor's appearance here possible, and all the work they're doing to make sure the state is moving forward with electrification at the light duty, medium duty, heavy duty, all the duties. We're all the duties. We're into all of them. And so if you haven't had a chance to chat with Mega or Dan, please do make sure, you'll hear from Dan later, but I think the state's definitely doing a great job engaging here. So I think it looks like we have Spencer.
Hey Spencer, you're on.
Can you hear him?